You are welcome once again. I'm doing this video today to correct a particular error in our singing. Yes, a particular error, grave error that singers commit, and I've seen a lot of people. Most of the time it's not by design, but it is just by default, which means that or sometimes it has to do with our background, our dialect, our level of exposure to singing and what singing entails. Yes, I'm a Nigerian, and in Nigeria we have different tribes. We have Yoruba, we have Hausa, we have Igbo, we have different tribes. So and our dialect has a way of influencing how we project our words, how we project our singing. Yes, even many of us, our dialect songs, our tribe songs, there's a way we sing them, which most of the time when we now want to speak, when we want to sing in other language, we just import that particular positioning of the mouth, the register and everything, the cavities, then we bring in into a way of singing. I mean the new language with which we want to sing with. And then when we begin to sing in this new language, it reflects our original dialect in our tribe. So example, in Yoruba people, we tend to speak more with our vocal cavity. Yes, we tend to. That's the reason why most of our names, you hear Kola, you hear Bola, you hear Titi, you hear Dayo, you hear all the Yoruba names. You realize that it has to do with mouth. But when it comes to our Igbo brothers and sisters, you hear Chukwudi, you hear Nnamdi, you hear Chukwuemeka, and you hear Nnenka. You hear different name like that. Nkechi. So you hear this different name, and when you are hearing those names, they have to do with nasal cavity. Nkechi, 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 and I'm just trying to say it in my own way as a Nigerian of Yoruba origin. So likewise, when you go to the north, you realize that our Hausa brothers and sisters, they speak with their chest. So when you hear Dauda, you hear Yunusa. Most of what they do has a lot to do with carrying their throats along in their pronunciation and what they do. So which is different from Yoruba, that is just basically our vocal cavity. So this thing influence when we sing. So let me ask you, do you have someone that sing this way? Yes, just listen to me. Worthy, you are worthy, King of kings, Lord of lords, you are worthy. Worthy, you are worthy, King of kings, Lord of lords, I worship you. Do you have someone who sings that way? Yes, often it has to do with relegating all the activity of the singing to the nasal cavity. So, and we call that nasal voice. Nasal voice. So when you use your nasal amplifier, or you call it resonator, when we use it to project song, and then we tend to push all the sound into it, so it begins to sound praising the Lord always, praising the Lord always. Or you've done so much for me, I cannot tell it all. Narekenemo. If I have 10,000 tongues, it still will be enough. Narekenemo. It's a very horrible way to sing. It doesn't sound very well. After sometimes it becomes really annoying, and it's a very bad singing way. So which I want us to correct. When we want to use our nasal cavity for singing, yes, nasal cavity is part of cavity, is part of our resonators that we use for singing. But now, if we want to use it, we need to learn to use it rightly. So let me give you tips on how to correct this error, and so that you can be able to leverage on either you are singing mid or up, and then you are engaging nasal cavity to sing. You can be able to balance it in such a way that it will be sweet to ear. So what do we do? Now, what we need to do is to know that any time or any register we are using to sing, we need to open our throat and let the air flow from our abdomen into our mouth. So the air must flow from our lungs to our mouth freely when we are singing. So we need to keep the back of the throat open. Ah, 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 ee, ha, oh, oh, ee. I have to keep the back of that throat open so that air can freely flow into my mouth. And that's how to really get the best of our singing. And when we are now singing now with our nasal cavity, we are engaging it in singing, we need to keep the back of the throat open, and then allow rich volume of air to fill our mouth, so that it won't be the nose sound that they'll be hearing. It will be a blended sound that people can really enjoy. So, I started by singing the song, you are what you are what you are what you. But let me now sing it normally now. So, and you hear me. You are worthy, Lord. 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 So, I'm changing song. You've done so much for me, I cannot tell it all. Narekelemo. If I have 10,000 tongues, it still will be enough. Narekelemo. So I kept the back of that throat open. So I intentionally singing up in order to show those of us that we are soprano singer, tenor singer, that we usually fall into this trap. So even if I'm singing on the lower register too, I can still maintain that. Oh, you've done so much for me, I cannot tell it all. If I have 10,000 tongues, it still won't be enough. So I will still have it as smooth as possible. So either up or down. I have to keep the back of that throat open so that the air can freely flow into my mouth. So I can have it either up there. I just want to praise you, Lord, and I lift my head to say, I love you, you are everything to me. I exalt your linema exalto, oh linema exalto, linemos high. So, but if I'm singing with my nasal cavity, it will be very hard for me. I just want to praise you, Lord. I'ma lift my hand to say, I love you. You are everything to me. I exalt your name. Rubbish. So, you can do this exercise in order to, to get used to this way of singing. Just hold your sound. You will see in each of the step, I was opening my mouth. That's why that I'm up there. So if I want to, instead of me saying, you are worthy, Lord. You are worthy, Lord. I keep that at the back of that throat open. I hope this helped someone to get better. Thank you very much for watching this. If you have not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more. Thank you. See you in another video. Bye.